is it necessary now to go to culinary school?
No, it's not. It really isn't. This is one of the few industries, and I tell teenagers this when they come to cooking classes. I get permission from their parents first, but I tell them straight up, this is one of the few industries where you can make a great living without any college education.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the 402 Out podcast. I'm your host, Connor Wiesman, and with me today, I have the wonderful owner of the Chef Around the Kitchen, Dan Benigno. I said that last name correctly, correct?
Chef Around the Block.
What did I say?
Chef Around the Kitchen.
No way I said that. Dude, forgive me for that. No, Chef Around the Block, excuse me.
That's a new one. Usually it's Chef Around the Corner. So.
Someone's going to take up on that. Your competitor's going to change that last word of their own business in Omaha.
Yeah.
But anyways, Dan Benigno is with me today. And Dan, with your very busy schedule that you have, well, being an owner, you probably work every single day.
Pretty much.
And then with classes and everything, making this work on a good morning is or a good weekday morning, I'll say.
Yeah.
Means a lot to me. I heard about your story after I met you a month ago, and I'm like, I had to get your story out on a podcast style. So anyways, thank you for joining me again. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan is with me, as I just said. And to start off, Dan, I want you to introduce yourself. So if you can you hop on a time machine with me? Go back to like what your childhood was like and what life was like before you started working in the food industry?
Well, sure. So yeah, I moved to Omaha back in 1984. I think when I was like 8 or 9 years old. Dad was in the Air Force. So we got stationed at Offutt, and once you get to Offutt, you don't get off it. And I've been here ever since, essentially. So it's a comfortable town, but living out of Bellevue for most of my childhood was decent. Cooking wasn't a main component of our family growing up. Like, we cooked food, but it wasn't like, I was working with my grandma making dumplings or anything like that. Or, my mom was, teaching me all these ins and outs of everything. It was just, hey, this is lasagna night. We're going to make lasagna. I might watch, I might not, but it wasn't like ingrained for me to be like always in the kitchen helping or anything like that. It was more, hey, go make rice. I'm like, okay, I'll go make rice. And, rice cooker is fairly easy, but all the, ins and outs of making rice, I learned very early on. But, yeah, it wasn't until I was 17 and I got a job at Sizzler Steakhouse in Bellevue as a dishwasher. And I did well, and they moved me from station to station to station. By the time I was 19, I was a kitchen manager running a Sizzler in Bellevue. And I was like, cool. They said I was doing well. I believed them, and I kept at it. And then I worked at Big John Billiards as a line cook back in the late 1900s, and was doing well, and they made me a manager. I'm like, cool, thanks. And then I opened the old Chicago downtown as a grill cook, and I was doing well. They bounced me around, helped open a couple other old Chicagos around the state. Made me a kitchen manager, told me I was doing well. I was like, cool, thanks. And, I just had enough people telling me that I was doing good at this job, and I believed them, and I just kept at it. I figured as long as I worked in the restaurant industry, I'd never go hungry. So
when you were a kid, did you ever think like the food industry would be your life?
No. In high school, I wanted to be like an aerospace engineer. Like, I was going to design spaceships and stuff, but that's a lot of math. So that didn't happen.
So where would you find yourself finding so much passion in cooking, food service, customer service, all that? Was that at a certain restaurant?
I think like each restaurant I worked at gave me a certain set of skills, whether it be culinary skills or people skills. But I think it was really old Chicago that was like, really got me to the place I am today, like learning the different aspects of the front line, the grilling and the frying, and the other different menu items up front, but then working in the back on the pizza line, making doughs, and that whole process just has a little big bakery sense to it, and then the frontline sense to it. So it was a really, really like multifaceted culinary place to work. So I learned a lot of stuff there that when I did go to culinary school eventually, I was like, oh, I already learned a lot of this stuff already. A lot of it I learned at Old Chicago. I learned my knife skills at Sizzler, cutting steaks and everything like that. So it was, yeah, it wasn't necessarily like a huge passion of mine to become a chef, like early on in my life. It was probably mid 20s where I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm doing pretty well at this. I think I could. I love doing it. It's cool. I make people happy, so I'll keep doing it. Um, but you get that imposter syndrome. It's like, am I really this good though? Or they just need me here because there's nobody else that's going to do this job. So I'm like, maybe, I don't know. So it was a little bit of that early in my 20s, in my early 20s, but it was towards my mid 20s, and I was like getting that confidence, like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this.
Where did you go to culinary school at?
The Art Institute of Colorado in Denver.
Would you say, I like how you said when you went to culinary school, you already knew a lot of the things that they were teaching. Would you say, is it necessary now to go to culinary school?
No, it's not. It really isn't. This is one of the few industries, and I tell teenagers this when they come to cooking classes. I get permission from their parents first, but I tell them straight up, I was like, this is one of the few industries where you can make a great living without any college education. Like, you don't need college debt to be a very good cook, to be a very good chef, to own your own restaurant. You don't need that. It's nice to have some information, some knowledge, like how to run a business, your accounting, all that stuff. Those are classes you should take. I don't think you necessarily need a degree in accounting to run a restaurant, but it's nice to know those numbers. So going to culinary school, I would have rather gone to business school just to understand that side of it more than how to, make sauces. Because I can just go to a restaurant that I like and say, hey, can I get a job? They'll give me a job. They'll teach me how to do everything. They'll give me the quantity to be good at it, because it's repetition to get it good at anything. And they'll follow through to make sure I'm doing it right, because they don't want their recipe screwed up. So going to a restaurant that you like or you want to learn about, I think is more valuable than actually going to culinary school. Culinary school gives you a wide range of things to learn, where you can eventually help narrow what you want to do. But if you have a vague idea of what you want to do already, just go do that.
How long was your time at culinary school?
Just 2 years.
Just 2 years?
Yeah.
Did you get a degree in anything else after that or
No.
before that? No?
No.
Got
Yeah, that's it. Just 2 years. I came back from Denver back to Omaha, and I got a job at the Henry Dorley Zoo Treetops restaurant. So I worked there for a year. It's a big pay cut, but it was really fun to work there. Like, the zoos, I love our zoo. I brag about it all the time. Anybody that comes through Omaha, go to the zoo. But yeah, working at the Treetops restaurant was really cool. Just, I had kids, they were very young kids at the time, and we could just park in the back and just sneak through the kitchen, and I'd skip the whole lines and everything. So that was really cool. Yeah, I just worked at, the zoo, and then P.F. Chang's for a little bit, then the 801 Chop House for a little bit, and then I got into the Holland Performing Arts Center as a cook there early on, before it really blew up. Like, it was almost new. They didn't even have a full kitchen yet. Like, it was really bare bones, and we were putting out some crazy stuff. And then they dragged me over to Union Pacific headquarters as a sous chef over there. And that's where I learned. That's what got me where I am today, is with at Corporate Dining Guggenheimer in Union Pacific headquarters.
You said earlier that you were promoted quickly to management roles after you'd get a new job at a new restaurant. So what made you stand out to your employers and bosses?
This is one of the things I like to tell, again, high school kids or even my employees. Like, the easiest thing to be successful in this job is to just show up on time and ready to go. That's the easiest win. Like, that's 80% of the job, is just showing up. And then my favorite line is, what's next? Like, just be done with whatever it is you need to do, and what's next? What's next? What's next? Because there's always something. So if you just keep staying busy, not only does it make the day go by faster, but then you've got that initiative. You're showing that initiative of, like, I'm ready for what's next. So, okay, well, go learn this job. Go learn this job. Go learn this job. And I'm like, okay, I know all the jobs now. Okay, well, I guess you're in charge now. So it's not hard.
So you have this big diversity of working at these restaurants, fast food, sit down, fine dining, or even like a corporate office like Union Pacific. I've always asked my buddy Josh this, who you know, will Nebraska ever get a Michelin star restaurant?
Yeah, I don't see why not. We got a lot of great talent, and there's there's a ton of talent in Omaha. It's just getting the Michelin star judges out here to try it more than anything. But yeah, I don't see why not.
You said you learned the most at Union Pacific.
Yes.
Can you describe more of your time
Yeah,
there?
oh, totally.
And what you learned exactly?
So I started out as a sous chef there and promoted to an executive chef, but pretty much did the same job all the way through the 9 years I was there. 7 or 9 years, one of those numbers. And we were doing like 2,200 covers a day for breakfast and lunch. Like there's a population of like 4,000 people in that building at the time I was there. And they would come down for breakfast and lunch constantly. So it was volume was huge. So just being organized, communication, fast. I mean, you got to cut fast, because we're making everything from scratch too. So, we're making ranch dressing from scratch, not just opening a Hidden Valley packet and dumping it in with some mayonnaise and buttermilk. We're cutting onions and herbs and all that stuff. So, that was really cool. Being able to make everything from scratch as much as possible was a great skill set to have. And then the diversity of the employees at Union Pacific kind of called on us to make as much authentic food as possible. So, I'm making, Vietnamese food and Japanese food and Cajun food and Indian food and all sorts of different types of ethnic, different cultural cuisines. And I would take input from the employees upstairs, like, how do I make this better? And they would give me tips and tricks on how to make it better. And that was always cool. But we're doing like 56 menu items every week. So I'm writing a new menu every week with different menu items, and I might rotate that menu every 6 weeks, but still, like, it's a lot of different stuff going on all at the same time. So that was really cool to be able to learn and cook different cuisines as authentic as we could. And then that's kind of one of the things I dragged into my cooking classes that I do now. But like Union Pacific was just the logistics of it all, the staffing we had, because on top of that, you never had full staff. There was probably 3 days a year where everybody showed up on time in-house. So learning how to deal with those hiccups are a good challenge for chefs to be able to pivot and make it happen. But the logistics of Union Pacific got really more crazy when we took on Google data centers and TD Ameritrade. So not only was I doing 200 covers for Union Pacific itself, but we also started the food programs for Google and the food programs for TD Ameritrade out of the same kitchen. So
Would you have to transport, because it was Google, so you'd have to make all the food in the kitchen and then be like,
pack
all right.
it up, load it up into the van, run it out to Iowa, pack up TD Ameritrade, run it out west to 108th and Dodge. So it was just the logistics of making sure everybody had everything before they left, could do the job, make sure the food could transport well, taste good when it got on site, because you can't really make adjustments there. So everything needs to be good to go. Being able to hold. So just a lot of different logistics came into that. So that was fun. I enjoy doing that. That's, logistics is really fun for me. Just making that crazy happen is really cool.
So when you watch a fiction TV show like The Bear, or like a nonfiction TV show or reality show like Hell's Kitchen, are those like moments in the kitchens, those scenes, are those actual real life things that could happen?
There shouldn't be, especially in the corporate dining world, there shouldn't be a whole lot of yelling at people. Like, that doesn't happen very often. HR gets involved real quick. So there's a lot of respect and responsibility that comes with working in the kitchen. It goes both ways too. It's like, I'll show you respect if you show responsibility, that type of scenario. So, but yeah, I watched 2 episodes of The Bear and it just triggered me, and I was like, no, I can't do this. It's it was very much like, I don't say it's like old Chicago, but just the intensity of it and, just the fast pacedness of it. It was just, I'm good. I live it. I don't need to watch it.
So it was like PTSD.
It was just very much PTSD.
So
very much.
It's not like that in the corporate world or the corporate dining world.
Right.
But you said at Old Chicago it was.
Yeah.
Where it's just, but it sounds like when you worked at Union Pacific, that's more stressful because.
That was just because of the volume.
The volume.
Yeah, just the volume. I'm cutting, 40, 60 pounds of chicken a day. We're cracking 4 cases of eggs, 15 dozen eggs per case. So 60 dozen eggs a day for breakfast. I can crack a case of eggs in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. You get really good at those things because of volume and repetition. So, I can knock out, 40 pounds of chicken diced in 20 minutes. Those are skill sets that you have to do the volume. Lunch is ready at 11. We get there at 6. Let's go. You don't have time to dilly-dally. Yeah, if your knife stops moving when your mouth opens, we have a problem. If you can't talk and cut at the same time, you're not going to go far. So you got to learn how to talk and cut at the same time. And some people can't do that.
I can't multitask like that whatsoever. So I can let you know that's not a skill of mine.
Practice. I can cut with my eyes closed too. So
is that typical for like a cook or
I
a
think
chef?
so. Yeah. I mean, you just know where your fingertips are. That's really all that matters.
Have you ever had like a nasty finger wound before?
Yeah. You need to have a legit fear of the mandolin, the slicing attachment thing. I took a chunk of my thumb off because I was at culinary school. We had a big picture window with guests were watching our kitchen, like the Sage Bistro down in Metro. And they were watching us, and I was in front of the window slicing potatoes on the mandolin, and somebody said my name, and I turned my head. When I turned my head, my thumb moved, and I sliced my thumb on the mandolin, and it was a good chunk off of that. And I just pinched it off and did a couple more slices with potato because the people were watching me, so I was playing it off like nothing happened, and then I threw all the potatoes in the trash and went and sanitized the mandolin and got this all fixed up and pretended like nothing ever happened. But some of the horror stories at Old Chicago, like if we got a little knife wound or something like that, we just turn around and sear it on the flat top behind you, or rub some black pepper into it, or grab some super glue, and just like very triage, military-esque type scenarios. You didn't have time to stop. So
have you ever seen a major injury happen before?
Yeah. We had a guy making pizza dough who didn't wait for the dough hook to completely stop moving before he checked it. So he stuck his hand to check the pizza dough, but the dough hook kept moving and it crushed his arm in between the big metal bowl. And it was just every color of the evil rainbow. Like, it was just gross.
What restaurant was this at?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And then I had another one and he was a drummer too, so that kind of sucked. Like, he couldn't for a while. And then I had another one where a guy didn't put his knife away properly, and he had it on the edge of the cutting board, and it was a serrated knife, and he accidentally hit it, and it sliced in between the webbing of his finger, and you could see all the knuckles in there. So that was gross. Yeah, I've seen some stuff.
I assume stories like that, but does that happen like often, or is it like once a year?
It shouldn't. Like, it doesn't happen in my world currently.
Yeah, that's a good thing though.
Yeah. So it's people lose focus. They're not paying attention to what you're doing. That's what's going to happen. So pay attention to your surroundings, watch your environment, do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
So let's jump from, you said that Union Pacific was your last job before you started Chef Around the Block, correct?
Yeah, that company was, yeah.
Yeah.
I was at Union Pacific, and then I helped open TD Ameritrade, and then I helped oversaw the Google data centers, and then I was promoted to a Midwest executive chef where I kind of traveled the Midwest and helped units with training and programs, and helped open new cafes. And then I was promoted to a national executive chef for training and development with that company, where I would travel the whole country, help open cafes, teach the staff how to do their job, and develop training manuals and programs for the country. So I've helped open restaurants from inside other businesses that fed their employees, those cafes, from San Francisco to New York Times Square, from Texas to Wisconsin. So Chef Around the Block, well, the Block Culinarium here that I just opened in December is the 37th restaurant I've helped open in my last 33 years.
37 restaurants?
37 restaurants in 33 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're like, what, like 41?
It's cute. No, 50.
Dude, you're probably, are you planning opening more restaurants?
No.
This
is it.
This is
it.
Ends at 37.
Ends in 37. We're good. I got a 5-year lease on that, and I'm not moving my stuff anymore. I don't want to go, and one is good. This is fine.
So let's talk about how this all actually started, because this happened during COVID, right?
Chef Around the Block, yeah.
So can you explain
so
what led to this and how it all actually started?
I was actually in Indiana in March, opening a new facility out there. And one of my cooks that was actually coming from Nebraska to help open just had like the wickedest cough, just didn't feel good at all. And we didn't know what COVID really was back then at that time. And he was just like, Dan, I can't make it. I just can't. I'm like, all right, we'll figure it out. So he bailed. And then we had lost a couple other people, just weren't feeling well. And I'm like, this is not good. And then I got a little bit of cough on me as well too. And like, we're just powering through this opening. And we got to get we're there for a week, and we need to get this place open. And then everybody that just came in to visit, just came in from out of town can go. So it was really weird. And then people were like, well, yeah, we're only going to operate at 50% staff. So like even opening the place, everybody wasn't coming in. The employees themselves weren't coming in. So it was just a really weird time. And then they started shutting down some restaurants. So like the whole city we were in was like dead. It was just a really weird, eerie zombie, like apocalypse quietness to everything. So it was really weird. And then we got literally like probably the following week, we got back from Indiana, got home, and then like everything started shutting down. Countries, businesses started shutting down. And once the building shuts down, it sends everybody home, and it's a work from home scenario. They don't need the cafes, right? Because there's nobody in the office to eat. So I was like, okay, if nobody's going to the cafes, then they don't need the cooks. Okay, so if they don't need the cooks and they don't need the managers, they don't need it just trickled up, and everybody just kind of disappeared. And they're like, okay, well, we're kind of putting everybody on hiatus. We're putting everybody on furlough. We're going to, you start taking your PTO or your severance and things like that. And just, and we'll see if we can come back. And then I saw that Google wasn't going to come. This was April. I think it was April 2020, and they're like, we're getting reports that Google isn't going to come back for the rest of the year, and that's like a third of our business. So I'm like, oh, there's writing on the wall here. I'm like, this isn't going to end well. So I was like, I started interviewing at a couple other restaurants that were still doing something, and that I knew people that worked there. And so I walked into their kitchens, and just, it was dirty, didn't really like their menu. The food was okay. It wasn't as much from scratch as I like to do. And I was just like, at some point, I was like, if I'm just going to go listen to some jackass tell me what to do, I'll just be my own jackass and figure it out and tell myself what to do. So it's like, all right, well, I went from a national executive chef, so I'm just your neighborhood chef around the block now. So I went all the way from here just to your local guy now. So that's where Chef Around the Block name came from, was just that transition from a national to your neighborhood chef. And then I started with meal prep. So I would just kind of fill that gap of people not having, fast food or restaurants to go to get their meals. So I just started with meal prep, and then evolved into, once things started loosening up in the fall, where we could visit like 6 to 8 people at a time, I would do an impersonal chef. So I'd go to people's houses and pretend to be a restaurant. Like I would make dinner for everybody, and they would have their get-togethers and have that experience as well too. So that was really cool to do. And then I got a request to do a online cooking class. So a company wanted to do like a little team building thing. So they orchestrated a cooking class with me, and I would drop off all the ingredients to their houses. And then I was working at the kitchen council at the Haw Family Arts Center in Council Bluffs. It was a cool commissary kitchen at the time. And they helped me set up video cameras and TVs so that I could do this, essentially a Zoom cooking class, which was neat. And it really fulfilled that training and development program that I used to have with the old job. So I really liked that educational part of being able to teach civilians how to cook. So I was like, started developing that program as well. And then the catering aspect of it just kind of naturally evolved, because that's much easier than running a restaurant, if that makes sense.
It does.
Because I know exactly how many people I'm cooking for. I know exactly what they're going to order. I can order the exact right amount. I can prep the right amount, and there's no guesswork to it. And I know how much money I'm going to make before I even leave the house. So, which is like the complete opposite of running a restaurant, because you have no idea how many people are going to come in. You have no idea how much to prep for. And you have no idea how much money you're going to make that day. So that's scary. I don't know why I did that.
So how did you get this commercial kitchen then?
So the commercial kitchen was the Hoff Center one, or which commercial kitchen?
This one, we're in right now.
The Black Culinarium that I
Yes.
opened. So we'll go back probably 4 years or so. So I was working this event for a fundraiser for Bags of Fun. And this gentleman came up to me and really liked my food and really cool stuff that I'm doing. And he recognized me from Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts. When my kids were little, I was with Cub Scouts for 9 years. And for a couple of years, I actually ran the popcorn sales for the district, which was, I think, one of the largest districts in the country behind Washington, D.C. Like, we were one of the biggest after that. So I was in charge of orchestrating, organizing, training popcorn sales for the district here, and we were like $15,000 shy of $1 million in sales of popcorn in a month.
You said 1,500 or 15,000?
$15,000. Okay. So if I would have gotten like every kid to sell one more box of popcorn, we would have hit $1 million in sales. So he kind of remembered me from that, because his kids were in, and he's like, he was the landlord for Midtown Crossing. He's like, I got some empty spaces down here. Would you mind taking a look? Maybe we can put you in here to kind of fill in some of the empty spots so it doesn't look so dead down there. I'm like, sure. So he kind of gifted me a space down there to do whatever I wanted. So it was a really cool spot, decorated, cleaned it up, decorated however I wanted it, designed it. I did my cooking classes out of there, did some private events out of there. My catering, bulk of my business was still done out of Kitchen Council in Council Bluffs. But as this space in Midtown was gifted to me, it can be kind of taken away from me as well too. So there was one point where somebody was actually going to come in and like pay full rent for everything and kind of take it over. I'm like, well, shoot, I have cooking classes for the next couple months still booked. I need a place to do those. And this was just before Christmas, cooking classes are a huge part of my Christmas sales, because people buy gift certificates for cooking classes, which then they redeem them in January and February. So I needed a landing space for that. So he's like, okay, well, we can put you in a space across the street. I'm like, okay, cool. So moved me across the street, which means I had to move all my equipment, everything, just across the street, which is just tedious and annoying. But again, he took care of me, so not arguing whatsoever. Blessed that he gave that to me. But that was the catalyst of, if he's just going to keep moving, if he has the ability to just keep moving me around whenever I need to, I don't have that security anymore. I need my own space. And one of the iterations of Chef Around the Block was a commissary kitchen to host and support other local food trucks or food vendors. You know, back in 2020, as I was developing this program, So when it was time to like create my own thing, to have my own thing, I was like, let's see if I can't bring that back into fruition. Just kind of being that landlord-esque scenario where I kind of make that passive income, to be honest. Like, I'm 50 years old. I'm tired of lifting 50 pounds of potatoes. I need to like transition out of that. So having a commissary space was really cool, but still being able to do the rest of my programming, which I'm kind of known for, my caterings and my cooking classes, I needed space for that as well too. And then out of the Hoff Center in Council Bluffs, we would do Fourth Fridays, where one of the chefs would come downstairs and be a pop-up and kind of pretend to be a restaurant, open to the public, different menu every month. So those were cool, and I did pretty well at those. So I was like, I could probably get away with doing one of those here too, because I don't want to do a Monday through Sunday restaurant, breakfast, lunch, and dinner scenario. Like, absolutely don't want to do that. So having my own space, I can do whatever I want to do. So yeah, so now I do the Block Culinarium, houses chef around the block, and a couple other food truck vendors out of here as well too. And then it does private cooking classes, and then it does the culinary pop-ups with a different menu every month. So it's like a new restaurant every month. So this month is like Asian noodle bowls. So it's a ramen place this month. And then next month's going to be Hawaiian themed. So we're going to have, like luau food. And then April will be breakfast for dinner. So we'll have omelets and scrambled eggs and French toast and stuff. So I'll just rotate the menus through whatever I want to make that month. And I think that's fun because I don't like cooking the same thing all the time. Again, stems from Union Pacific times where I had a different menu every freaking week. So, yeah.
I like how you said when you start this. Well, first off, before I get there, did you ever have in the back of your mind, like, say you're in your 20s, you're working at Old Chicago or Old Chicago or Sizzlers, like back at that time, where you're like, darn, I really want to start my own restaurant or my own food company of some sort. Was that ever in the back of your mind?
That was one of the reasons why I did go to culinary school, was I felt like if I had the piece of paper, I would get a better chance of getting investors to help open a restaurant. But that's not the case. You don't need the piece of paper. You just need to know that you can do the job more than anything. Because, I got back from culinary school, and I was like, I don't want to do a brick and mortar thing. Like, just to seeing what all the issues that come with having a brick and mortar is insane. Like, I don't get to just cook anymore because I have to worry about the plumbing, or the electrical's acting up, or the cooler's down, or I have to do all the marketing and the merchandising and the social media content. So it was one of the issues that I had at Guggenheimer at corporate dining, is the higher you go, the less cooking you do. And that got to be a problem where, I express my artistic abilities through food. And if I don't have that outlet, Dan gets sad. So we need to make sure that Dan still gets to cook. So having the amount of creativity that I can do here helps balance the paperwork and the maintenance and all the other little hats that I have to put on to run a restaurant. To be able to create a new menu, to make cool food, to teach people how to use a knife and cut an onion, to host their graduation party or their bridal shower, or do their wedding reception, be part of people's lives. So that's a really cool. I really enjoy that part of it.
So as you said earlier, you don't want a Monday through Sunday breakfast, lunch, and dinner role where you're working you're a 24-hour business.
Right.
So with that being said, with you being your own business owner, wanting to work whenever you want, is work-life balance a myth to you, where you have?
Yeah, it doesn't exist. It should. It's nice to do, but it's when I don't make money sitting at home. So, if I call in sick, I don't get sick pay. If I want to take a vacation, I don't get vacation pay. So I need to make money to support my family, to pay my mortgage. But understand that I'm running my own business so that I can do what I want to do, that I'm not beholden to a corporate entity or another manager that says, well, we need you to work Mother's Day. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want to work Mother's Day. So when I am overworked, it's my own fault because I scheduled it. I can block off dates and say those days are not available for events or cooking classes because Dan needs self-care. So when I am overworked, again, it's my own fault.
Do you wish you started earlier?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm where I am supposed to be at this time. The knowledge I have now is put me where I am. You know, if I did this at my 35th restaurant, I might not have known where to put my outlets. So
So when you first started this, were there any moments where you're like, all right, you know what? I'm going to quit this business. I'm going to go back to what I did originally because I was such a good performer with that.
I don't know if I could go back to working for another restaurant. Like, I really don't
For
know.
another jackass.
Yeah, I really don't think I could do that. Just because I would want to do it my way. I would want to overrule what they say if it didn't make sense, if it wasn't logistically feasible. Like, I would mean no disrespect, but it would more than likely come off disrespectful, and I wouldn't want to do that to anybody else. So I think if I get tired of this, I'll just be a florist.
Fair.
That'll be easier.
That's fair.
Or health inspector. I've thought about doing that too.
It's definitely not food.
But being a health inspector, just being able to go around to different restaurants and help them.
For some reason, this is my dumb brain. I thought of house inspector, of like infestus in the house or whatever. That was the first thing that came to mind. Okay, so health, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just totally off track there. But yeah, I want to talk about, like, as people could see, we have all this art behind us. So I could tell you are a very local community guy.
Yeah.
Helping out local artists, as we talked about before.
Local support and locals, that's my jam.
I love to hear that. So can you share more about, so the camera can only catch this big portrait right here, but there's 4, and then there's the ginormous octopus
5,
on the other side. So can you explain just like the art in the building for a little bit?
So one of the things that I really wanted to do, I love colors. I love art. I have 386 pairs of socks, and I don't think any of them are just black or white.
You count all your socks?
They're on a wall in honeycomb.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're stored. Yeah. 386 pairs of socks.
So instead of a sneaker head, you're a sock head.
Yeah.
Got
much.
it.
It could be drugs.
Hey, I'd rather spend money on socks than drugs.
It's socks, exactly. So I like color. I like art. Like I said, you know, I express my artistic abilities through food. I wish I could paint. I try and I fail. It doesn't translate from my brain to the canvas, and I admire those that can do it. So I have 2 pieces over here from friends of mine, actually, that have done pieces for me before in other locations. And then I put a call out for a couple other people. So I got Brenda Stanek, I got Eduardo, I got Angelina Gutierrez over here, and then Jenna Jeffrey over there. And then there's a giant octopus on the other side over here by Kaliki Wiggins, who's actually my sister. And then all the tables in here are done by my sister as well, too. So it's a really cool space. It's very colorful. I got a couple pieces. Another friend of mine did a couple pieces in the hallway as well, too. And then she also did the logos are painted on. Those aren't stickers. So, yeah, it's beautiful stuff. It's inspirational. It just looks cool. It adds character and color to the place. And I really appreciate them doing it for me.
Appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah.
So let's jump into the basic services of this company. So you offer cooking classes.
Yep.
So is your demographic of people like older high schoolers, or is it younger adults, older adults, or is it a mix of everything?
It's a little mix of everything, predominantly older folks, date night usually. You know, family of 6 will come in. Maybe it's double date night, or sometimes even a team building exercise as well too for a company. They'll come in and do a cooking class. Like I have one for 2 people tonight, 6 people tomorrow, 2 people on Saturday, and then 20 on Sunday.
What's the 20 on Sunday? It's just a big corporate
Yeah, it's their
thing?
corporate. Yeah, it's their business is coming in to do a little team building night and get together. I'll do some, Christmas cooking classes for people, and like they'll do gifts exchange, and yeah, they're cute, they're fun. And I like to do the private ones so they're not open to the public. Like not just anybody can attend these classes. Everybody at the class knows everybody else. I find that better. I've done some where there's strangers involved, but I like the private ones where everybody knows everybody, because you're more likely to be yourself. You're more likely to ask questions. You're less likely to show off and hurt yourself. You're more likely to get stuff out of it because of, the familiarity with everybody else. So I like to stick to the private cooking class.
Would you say you're an extrovert or have an extroverted personality?
Omnivert, I think is what it is. I'm extroverted when I'm in the kitchen. That is my zone of terror. That is my happy place. That's where I feel most comfortable and confident, is, behind the quote unquote line. You get me out into the real world, a lot of things have to be lined up just right for me to be like, hello, everybody. I'll just sit in the back and
People watch or listen?
Yep, people watch, pay attention, watch my surroundings. But in a scenario, if a leader needs to lead and nobody else will step up, I will reluctantly take charge.
Got it.
If nobody else is going to do it, I will do it.
So besides the cooking classes, you also cater, correct?
Yes.
So do you have like the same companies always calling you like, hey, we want to cater on this day, yada, yada? Or like, how does catering work for you?
So I have a very wide range of catering events. I do the Rotary Club of Council Bluffs every Thursday afternoon. I've done them for probably 4 years at this point. But then I'll do wedding receptions. I'll do business lunches. I'll do bridal showers. I'll do birthdays. And I have a 14-page catering menu, but that's just because I can't literally put everything I can cook in there. So if I'll get some people that want, hey, I want to do pancakes to order at my house for a Barbie-themed birthday party. I'm like, okay, let's do that. I figure out a way to make that happen. So yeah, any type of catering needs, any food needs you have, let me know. I make that happen, to the point where I've had some people like pull up a menu from their first date that they want to incorporate into their wedding reception. So I'll find that menu from that restaurant, try to replicate as best I can, and implement that into their wedding reception to kind of trigger that past and things like that. I have, I can't tell that story yet. It's a cute story.
Okay, my next question was, what's been so far your favorite catering story?
Well, I have this cooking class one. Yeah.
You don't have to share it.
No, well, I don't think she'll watch it right now. But this gentleman had met his girlfriend in high school at a cooking class in high school, and he wants to do a private cooking class so that he can propose and bring it full circle around. I'll get to be a part of that. So that's really cute.
That's going to be awesome.
That's going to be cute. So, so yeah, I can pretty much literally cater anything. I do private jet catering as well too, which it's not as bougie as you think. It's a little bougie, but it's stupid. It really is dumb.
Do you just go to Omaha Empley for that mainly?
There's 3 private jet terminals on the backside of Epley that we drop food off to. And they will call me from anywhere in the world. They'll shoot me an email, and they'll just give me a menu of what they want. They don't even see my menu. They just tell me what they want, and I make that happen. But I have a $100 minimum, and sometimes there's just one dude on a plane and then 2 pilots. So I've got 3 turkey sandwich boxes going out, and I have a $100 minimum. And I'm like, okay. So I'm getting $100 for 3 turkey sandwiches, some cookies, and a bag of chips.
So like half of that is just dropping it off to them.
Yeah, it's just, they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I don't know why you just don't DoorDash from Jimmy John's, but whatever.
Whatever. Hey, you're getting paid. So.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. And it's, some of those are so simple foods, and some of them are just like really bougie. And I'm like, how far are you going that you need this much food? Like, I just set one for like, it was $400 worth of food for 4 people. Like, okay, is this a 24-hour flight? You don't need that much food because that's not going to get eaten. That drives me nuts. It's like, they're going to get it and it's going to look fancy and it's just going to be on their jet, and then it's going to stay there because they're not going to eat it all. So I heard that the flight attendants might take it, or the pilots might take it, or they'll drop it off wherever they're landing. So hopefully somebody eats the food. But it's whatever.
You don't have to say names, but have you ever like catered food to a private jet for a celebrity, politician, big influencer?
I honestly have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just get an email. You do what the email says.
They don't tell me who's flying. I don't see who's flying. I don't get on the jets. I just drop it off at the terminal.
Oh, you don't get on jets, no?
I did when I was at Union Pacific. I did do some catering for their private jets. They have their own air terminal as well too. I did get to go onto that jet once when I dropped it off. That was pretty.
Pretty bougie.
Yeah, leather seats. They have a leather toilet seat and everything.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice.
But
I mean, you're not catching me on one of those. I'm not getting on a small private. Those things fall out of the sky left and right. I'm not getting on one of those things.
Are you not a big? Do you fly?
Oh, I like flying.
Yeah, because you travel across the world.
Yeah. I don't mind flying, but I want a big airplane. Don't give me a little airplane. Those things are sketchy.
That's good to know.
I'm not doing. You can. I'm not getting on one.
Have you ever cooked for a celebrity before?
Oh yeah, mostly old Chicago, honestly. Yeah,
really?
We got a lot because Old Market was hopping back in the late 1900s, like 96 to 98. Like we opened Old Chicago in 1996, College World Series week. Insane, busy. Macarena was just coming out. But yeah, we had all sorts of people come through. I remember I had LL Cool J was in, Matchbox 20 was in. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett had cheesecake and a cup of coffee on the patio while they were waiting for their private jet to get fueled up. They tipped 20%. That's fine. Yeah, so it's been a few. I worked when I was in Colorado for culinary school, I also worked at the Dave & Buster's there. And we had, who was that young? I can't remember who he was now.
Picture his face or her face?
It was a basketball player for the Nuggets. Very young, like he came out of high school. Like he was 18, 19 years old, going straight to the NBA scenario.
It's not Chris Mullin.
Carmelo Anthony. Yes, he was in there. I don't think we kicked him out, but we had to yell at him a few times because he was trying to get alcohol. I'm like, dude, you're 20 years old. Stop.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's actually really funny.
Yeah.
So,
some people think the rules don't apply to them.
No, I get that. So, speaking about celebrities, influencers, I've interviewed food influencers. I've watched their content. I think it's very interesting because I interviewed a guy named Scotty Eats.
I watched that one.
Yeah, so he was just telling me I'm not like a food expert.
Right.
He just loves food. He loves traveling, especially, and was just telling me anyone could do this. I'm not qualified. I'm not the most qualified man to do this.
Right.
Yet he's just very real and outgoing.
Yeah.
So I want to get your opinion. How are the local influencers from Nebraska? So you've talked to Dan Hoppin before.
Yeah, I did his podcast.
Yep. How do you think those local social media influencers are helping or destroying the food industry?
I think from the ones that I've seen, including Scotty Eats and Sammy and Dan Hoppin, Nat with Yum Omaha, what they're doing is accentuating, highlighting, promoting bragging, boasting. They are pumping up the food scene in Omaha so well and so right, that it's beautiful to see. Again, it's local supporting locals. They don't. I don't know what a food expert even means. It's a subjective taste. Like, I don't like olives. Okay, cool. What does that mean, right? Like, if I don't like something, doesn't mean that you have to not like it too. So, but they don't promote that. That's not how they operate, and I 100% respect that. They're not going to badmouth any restaurant because that's not their place, and that's what they shouldn't do that either, because it's not helpful. If there's a problem with the food, go talk to the chef, the manager, figure out what the problem is, rectify it then and there. So the fact that they don't blast anybody on socials, that they don't disparage any other restaurants, that if they don't like it, they don't post it. Cool, good, do that. There's no trolling. That's not helpful. It's not helpful. That will, that's one bad social media post can literally destroy an entire restaurant, and it could just be from somebody that didn't like you that day. And it's unfortunate that scenario can happen. But I think the influencers help a lot of the smaller restaurants get noticed. Omaha's, what do they say? It's the biggest small town, the smallest big town.
Smallest big town.
Smallest big town. We're spread out pretty far. We like to stay in our own little bubbles. It's, if it takes more than 20 minutes to get anywhere, we kind of second guess whether or not we need to get there. So it's like, I don't go to Papillion all that often. There's a lot of good restaurants down there though. So they help kind of, I think, accentuate the diversity and the options available in Omaha pretty well.
So the staple fast food place of Nebraska is Runza. Mm-hmm. I just want to get your simple opinion. What is Runza to you?
Runza's good. I like it. I have no problems going through fast food joints. I will Taco Bell the hell out of anything, quite honestly. The worst thing they did was create a Taco Bell app that I can just fill it with $45 worth of food I don't need, because that's insane. But yeah, no, Runza will slap. That's fine.
Have you ever had Portillo's in Illinois?
Yes.
They're known for their hot dogs, but they also have this thing called a chocolate cake shake.
No, I guess I haven't had that.
It sounds like it's kind of been like a while since you had Portillo's, though. But I just like to share that because I've always compared Runza and Portillo's, because Portillo's is like this Illinois staple food,
right? And
then Runza is the Nebraska staple food. There's different menus still, but there's some things in comparison. Like they both have shakes, crinkly fries, and burgers, and all that. And I'm just gonna be biased.
The locals love it though. That's the thing. It's they own their.
It's like how Texas loves Whataburger.
Right.
I mean, I like Whataburger, but I would rather take.
Oh, and then California In-N-Out burgers.
Really?
Oh,
I like those.
Pass.
No. You'd rather have a Runza burger than an In-N-Out burger?
I would rather have a Runza burger I would rather have a Hardee's burger than an In-N-Out burger.
That's diabolical.
Right?
That's diabolical,
right?
Dude.
Yeah.
Maybe I interviewed the wrong person for this segment, but no, I just want to get your quick.
Well, considering my diet is literally cheeseburger, chicken wings, and pizza, I'm gonna say
Are you a picky eater, or were you a picky eater?
No, I eat like a trash raccoon.
Okay, because I'm 25, I'm still a picky eater.
No, I'll eat just about anything.
Got it.
Yeah.
So.
And then a little fun tidbit: every 7 years, your taste buds change. So give it another try.
That's what my mom told me. I used to hate buffalo sauce. Now I need buffalo sauce on all my chicken.
Yeah. So it just kind of evolves after time. At one point, I absolutely hated all olives. Now I'm good with black olives. I don't like green olives. I didn't like all mustard. Now I'm good with Dijon mustard. Still don't like yellow mustard. So I'll try again just to make sure I don't like it still. But yeah, always try food. And then I always do tell people, it's you're not allowed to not like it till I've cooked it for you. So sometimes it just wasn't cooked right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to how pop-up sessions work. So as you said, as of right now, you guys have pop-ups Tuesdays and Wednesdays, correct?
Yep. Tuesday, Wednesday nights, 4 to 8, 5 to 8, open to the public, no reservations needed.
And then the
Yes.
menu changes like every week, or is
Every
it like a
month.
monthly fee?
Every month.
So it's the month of February right now.
So we're wrapping up Asian noodle bowls. So we've got ramen and Simon and pho and Thai coconut curry with a bunch of different proteins and a few small bite options like pork gyozas and scallion pancakes and wontons, crab rangoons. Everything's made from scratch. I make all my own broths, from scratch. We folded all the crab rangoons. We, pinched all the gyozas. So everything's made from scratch. And then next month we're going to switch to a Hawaiian themed menu. Couple reasons. One, my family is from Hawaii, so I enjoy doing that cuisine. And then my sister is moving, and we're kind of throwing a going away party for her March 21st. It'll be open to the public. You can say goodbyes to her. I'll have art show. I'll have some of the artists in here as well too, bringing in some more pieces. And then the menu will be open. The bar will be open for retail. It's not an open bar. It's not an open menu, but I'll have a pop-up that night as well too. So yeah, the bar's open. Food will be out March 21st, so that'll be fun. But yeah, we'll have Kahlua pork and Lomi Lomi salmon, Mocha Locos, Katsu chicken, spam musubis, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's fun.
So can you say the name of the previous restaurant that kind of helped you get this restaurant? Start with letter H.
The Hoff.
Yeah.
The
Do you
Hoff.
also do pop-ups there too, or no?
I used to,
Okay.
because they have on the second floor. The Hoff Family Art Center is a really cool art forward facility. It's a 4-story art complex, is what I call it, where the 4th floor has an art gallery that changes every quarter. The 3rd floor has art studios with 4 resident artists and art classes for kids and adults. So I've done like a Mud and Merlot class where we spin pottery wheels and have drinks. They'll do that for kids as well too. Painting classes. The 2nd floor has the American Midwest Ballet that practices out of there, and then Kitchen Council, which is a food startup incubator commissary kitchen. So I shared a kitchen with like 16 other culinary entrepreneurs. So I don't do any baking or pastry work, so I subcontract out to those folks. So Breeze Bakery in Bellevue, she does all my pastry work. She'll have desserts here for the pop-ups as well too. Again, supporting that local community. Bluebird Bakery works out of there as well too, so he does a lot of my breads as well. So that's really cool to have. And then the 1st floor had a 300-seat event space and a 280-seat auditorium where they do events, huge events. So I've done catering events in there for 500 people out of that building before. But like I said, every 4th Friday, they will open up, have live music, pop-up restaurant, crafts going on, activities going on. It's a really cool scene over there at the Hoff Family Arts Center in Council Bluffs. I know it's across the river. It's very, very far away, but it's a really cool place
I've seen
to
the
check out.
interior. It looks really nice.
Yeah, it's
and
gorgeous.
modern,
It's really cool. So yeah, definitely check that out. I might do some guest appearances there again on a Friday, 4th Friday in the summer, or they have a big fundraising event in the fall that I'll probably help with, just because I had 5 years there and they kind of liked me there. I'm their preferred catering vendor too, so I got to give them the Hoff Center props. But yeah, I like the pop-ups. Again, it's a different menu. We get to try new things, see how that works. Yeah, it's fun.
What's your favorite part about owning your own commercial kitchen?
That I can literally do whatever I want to do, or not do whatever I want to do. Don't want to do. Like it's the versatility is really good. Like that, I even have. I've gotten to a point where I'm doing externships for Metro Community College students now too, because of my diversity in programming. A lot of those people that are in culinary school don't necessarily know which direction they want to go, but me being able to do catering, cooking classes, personal chef, quote unquote restaurant, they can get a little sample of what all of those really are in the real world. So that's a really cool experience that I'm able to offer as well too. So I've got 3. I'm up to 3 now. I just interviewed yesterday. So I have like 3 Metro community adults, helping me out, working for me in different capacities here. So that's really cool. So being able to do kind of whatever I need to do, being able to pivot whenever I need to pivot without getting permission from somebody else, is really cool. Being able to design it however I want to, make it as functional as I need it to make, and not really be beholden to anybody else is really really a fun part.
So you seem to be a good mentor and a teacher towards your cooking students. Who was your mentor? Whether it was like someone you looked up to, like a celebrity chef, or was it like an actual chef from, or cook or boss from a previous job?
As far as celebrity goes, like I have this little Anthony Bourdain memorial over here where I did get to meet him at the Holland Center, asked him out for a beer that night, got a cookbook signed for him by him. So that was a cool experience. But a lot of the stuff I did learn from was from Chef John Halligan. He was my executive chef at Union Pacific. He was my executive chef at the Holland Center. He brought me in and kind of got me acclimated to that aspect of the world, and then insisted that I come be his sous chef when he took over Union Pacific headquarters, helped develop me, walked me through a lot of stuff, and really kind of honed my skills and gave me room to grow and room to make mistakes, and the fortitude to kind of get the job done. Got me a lot of tips and tricks, and held me accountable for things. And he's been around the block for sure. Like I think he helped open Harrah's Casino, Red Lion back in the 80s, I think. The Cafe de Copia restaurant over in Regency, he owned that. Recently, he's part of The Gather in downtown. He helped open Gather. He spent time in Hawaii. So he's very diverse, super knowledgeable chef that was 100% my mentor through my growing years at Union Pacific and in that company. Huge cheerleader of mine, really the utmost respect for that man. No college education.
Wow.
Yep.
It's just crazy because like nowadays, like people are kind of turning away from college because they just want to make money right out of high school. So like trade school is the way to go.
They're not making it back.
No.
They're not making their debt back in a timely fashion. And then, just to go off into the real world under $30,000 in debt just like that is crippling.
And then just like you look at billionaires, and like they didn't even go to college or they dropped out. So just a weird perspective to look at.
Yeah, we were fed false information that we needed a college education to be successful.
Do you do a good job of listening to your gut rather than other people's opinions?
I'll do both. I value other people's opinions. Whether my gut says they're right or wrong is another question, but I will listen to other people. I am not the best chef in the city, by a long shot. I'm a really good cook, but I find myself being a better manager, being a better leader, which just requires me to surround myself with better people, to delegate responsibly. I developed it was a management system when I was with Guggenheimer. It was called the KEEP system. It's knowledge, employees, equipment, and product. As a manager, as a supervisor, as a leader, it's my job to provide those 4 tools to people. If I can give you the knowledge to do the job, what expectations are, the knowledge on how to operate equipment, how to read the recipe, that's my job to give you. Surround you with good employees, trustworthy employees, empowered employees, to make sure you have enough employees to do the job, that you have the right equipment to do the job. Do you have the tools to succeed? Are you missing knives or printers, or an oven's broken? You need those things to do your job. And then product. You need mushrooms. Do you need chicken? Do you need paper? Do you need, folders? Do you need pens? I have to provide those things for you. So as long as I provide you those 4 tools to succeed, you should be fine. So I kind of live my life by that and give everybody the tools to succeed, to kind of keep them around. And if they're missing one of those tools, it's going to be very hard for them to do their job. And if they're missing 2 of those tools, it's going to be damn near impossible. If they're missing product and employees, we're not opening today. If we're missing employees, we're going to make it work, but it's going to be hard. If you don't know how to do something, it's going to be very difficult for you to do your job. So that's my job, is to provide those tools.
What's been your proudest moment so far working in the food industry?
Oh, I don't, I'm only as good as my last event. So having yesterday being a decent day, that makes me happy. Being part of people's weddings, their receptions, or baby showers, and just, how much food means to people, that gives me a sense of pride and, makes me feel like I'm on the right path.
Now, now the opposite. What's been your biggest struggle lately?
Is how much this occupies my time. Like, the balance of everything is difficult. Like, having a personal relationship can be difficult in a job that occupies 40, 50, 60, 70 hours of your week. So,
Well, Dan, I just have two big questions left. First off, I want to thank you for your time again, for allowing me to interview you and get your story out there, and to learn a little bit more about the food industry locally and with your company as well. Where can people find you at if they're interested in doing a pop-up session or a cooking class here?
chefroundtheblock.com, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as well too. And then the Block Culinarium is at 12221 Mary Plaza. You can find it on Google Maps, 122nd and Military. So,
Any last words of advice for anyone that's in the same boat as you or wants to open their either own restaurant or something similar to that?
Always be tasting. ABT, always be tasting your food. Always be tasting other people's food. Just keep experiencing things. There's no one right way to do it. So just do it.
Dan, I appreciate your time again. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
And then everyone else, thank you for tuning in and listening.